Hey guys, so we just got Min Min revealed as the first DLC character of our second Fighters Pass for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We've known for about 3 months now that the character was going to be coming from ARMS and that we'd get it revealed here in June, but we finally know who it is for sure, and it is Min Min. And she was a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so finally the fan theory rule that spirits deconfirm character choices for DLC characters is now broken. Because of that, and because of a few other things that were mentioned in the Sakurai Presents an ARMS Fighter video, I believe right now speculation is more exciting than it has been since base game Smash. I think there's more characters on the table right now, and more unknowns going on than we've had since we were speculating for the base game. Whenever we get some new Smash information, I always do one of these videos basically going over the leaks and theories, rumors, and just general Smash speculation and get us back on track with where things are. I usually give it like a week or so before I get into this stuff, but I'm honestly really itching to talk about everything after Min Min's reveal. There's just a lot to unpack with what we learned. Like I said, after this presentation, I truly believe Smash speculation is in a more exciting place than it's been since the base game. There's more characters on the table and more possibilities. I'm going to preface this whole video by saying a lot of the stuff I'm going to mention honestly has like two ways of looking at it. A lot of the rules that we had in place have been broken, and a lot of the characters people have counted out, I believe, are back on the table. So as I go over the different topics I want to touch upon in this video, very often I'll be giving one side, one way of looking at it, and then I'll be giving the other side, the exact opposite way of looking at it. And that's partly why Smash speculation is so exciting right now. We have a lot of unknowns going on. A lot of the fan rules, a lot of the character rumors, a lot of the theories and leaks and stuff we had before now have a big question mark associated with them. We don't know for sure which way things are going to go, and a lot of things in the Sakurai Presents an ARMS character video sort of gave some credibility to some things or took credibility away. There's really two ways of looking at it, so I just want to preface this video that a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be kind of contradicting myself, but it's simply because a lot of things are unknown, and that's partly why speculation is so exciting. Okay, so before we get into the more theoretical stuff, the speculation and rumors and leaks and whatnot, let's talk about what we learned directly from Min Min's reveal presentation. So Min Min is the first character in our Fighters Pass, leaving 5 more characters for this second Fighters Pass for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Min Min is, of course, a spirit character in the game already, so this is the first time we've had a spirit in Smash upgraded into a playable fighter. Min Min will be available when version 8.0 comes out, and that's going to happen on the 29th of June. Min Min will also be coming with 18 music tracks from ARMS, which is almost every single track in the game. Min Min has been added to the official Smash website and is now part of the big scroll artwork of all the different characters. Here is what the ARMS symbol looks like in Smash, and Min Min is also coming with Spring Stadium as her stage. Speaking of Min Min's stage, over on Twitter, @LittleBeige wrote, "Here's the alt skin references I found for Min Min. I could be stretching for some of these, but because most of these stages are from characters that aren't shown much in Smash, this would make sense." And then they show Min Min's alternate costumes and how they associate with many of the character stages from ARMS. Min Min's final Smash also has many of the other ARMS characters showing up to fight alongside with her for that final Smash. This is very similar to Mega Man's final Smash. We had been theorizing that potentially the ARMS rep could actually be more than one in some way, and with the final Smash, that's sort of true. Of course, the character that was picked was certainly Min Min alone. One thing that was surprisingly absent from Min Min's presentation was the spirit board she's going to show up with. However, it has shown up online, and here it is if you want to take a look at it. Before this reveal presentation, Min Min was the character I was theorizing was most likely to be our ARMS rep, and that turned out true. However, the reason I was theorizing this was mostly because of the Party Crash Bash and Min Min winning that basically popularity contest, and I thought that might be why she got into Smash. However, Sakurai said that's not the case. To be perfectly clear and quote the presentation, Sakurai said, "Now you might ask why Min Min out of all the fighters from ARMS. To be honest, it's because Mr. Yabuki, the producer of ARMS, said I want Min Min. I was actually thinking of Min Min too, but also Ninjara." So we got a clear reason why Min Min was chosen over the other ARMS characters. It seems like Sakurai was already thinking of her, potentially, and also Ninjara, but chose Min Min because Mr. Yabuki, the producer of ARMS, requested it. Now let's talk about the characters that didn't get chosen. Specifically, let's start off and talk about Springman. Like Min Min, Springman's also a spirit already in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but he's also an assist trophy. So while Min Min broke the fan rule that spirits deconfirm characters for DLC, not getting Springman could appear to say that the fan rule that assist trophies deconfirm characters holds true. In other words, characters that are already assist trophies in the game won't become playable characters because Springman was passed over here. However, I don't think that's really the case given what Sakurai said. Sakurai brought up Springman by saying, many of you might be thinking that Springman is the protagonist, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Mr. Yabuki said, everyone's the protagonist. Sakurai tends to choose the protagonist of games as the representative in Smash. So Sakurai's basically saying you might think Springman is the protagonist of ARMS, but according to the developer, all the characters in ARMS are the protagonist. It is a fighting game, so all of their stories are important. While Sakurai did mention specifically Min Min and Ninjara as characters he was considering choosing to get into Smash, he never said Springman was off the table. He never really made it seem like that wasn't a possibility. He even brought up that Springman is sort of considered the protagonist of ARMS until the developer told him otherwise. So given all that, I do think assist trophy characters are a possibility here. I'm not necessarily expecting an assist trophy character to get upgraded for this pass, but I'm also not counting it out. I am sort of expecting another spirit character will get upgraded, and I'll go into why I believe that in a little bit. So even though I think you can make the argument that Sakurai went with Min Min and not Springman, so spirits are back on the table and assist trophies aren't, given how it was told to us, I actually don't think Springman was ever off the table. I think Sakurai, if he wanted to, would have upgraded that character, but instead went with who Mr. Yabuki wanted, which was Min Min, who happened to be a spirit. So I really think for the second Fighter's Pass, anyone who's already in Smash is still on the table and a possibility if Sakurai wishes to upgrade them. So like I said earlier, many of the topics I'm going to cover in this video have multiple ways of looking at them. So I suggest you make the call for yourself whether or not you think an assist trophy character may happen for this pass. Personally, I'm not counting it out, but I'm also not counting on it. The only assist trophy character I'm realistically considering might get upgraded into a playable fighter in the second Fighter's Pass is Waluigi, but that's just my own personal assessment of the assist trophy characters and who I think might have a shot. Make that call for yourself. Sakurai also mentioned this interesting thing when bringing up the topic of Springman. He said, the image results show a certain enemy from a certain manga. I believe Sakurai was referring to Springman from the Kinnikuman manga. In the West, it was called Muscle. We actually got an NES game associated with it, and it also had these little figurines. The figurines, I remember, being more popular than the game or any kind of manga series, at least here in the West. I don't have any of the original ones. I do have some of these little Street Fighter figures. I got Balrog, Ken, I have one of Dhalsim as well, which kind of fits, of course, Min Min with the stretching arms. And Kinnikuman is not the only manga series Sakurai mentioned. He also mentioned the voice of Vegeta from the Dragon Ball series, which is really interesting considering how many people want Goku to get into Smash as our first fourth-party character. While it is pretty neat Sakurai specifically mentioned the Dragon Ball series and Vegeta, I do not think fourth-party characters are going to get into Smash. I believe if there's any rules in place for which characters can get into Smash, it is that they have to originate from a video game. That's probably the only rule that is still in play. Okay, so now let's talk about any of the leaks that may have actually called Min Min as our character. A little while back, I mentioned this 4chan leak. It was on June 14th, and it says, Min Min will be revealed and released on June 22nd. They want to wait until the Smash Ultimate Online Open is completed on the 21st before releasing the new character. We won't get the trailer for the next character after Min Min until August, though. So while that leak did get the character correct and the date of the reveal correct, we're actually getting Min Min released on the 29th, so they were wrong about that. So I don't know if August is the right time frame to be guessing at when our next character will be revealed to us, though it is a possibility. I really think this one probably just was a lucky guess. A lot of people were guessing at when the ARMS character would be revealed to us, and a lot of people were guessing at Min Min herself anyway, so I do think this one was most likely just a lucky guess. A few days before the Min Min presentation, Imran Khan claimed to know who it was, and they did something pretty cryptic and interesting. Over on Twitter, they made a series of messages about Smash characters, and if you look at the first letter in each of their messages, it spells out Min Min. No one noticed this until after the fact, as far as I'm aware. So that was pretty clever of Imran. It essentially proves they did know it was Min Min, and they were saying so in plain sight, but they did it very cryptically. There is also an older leak from quite a while back that has come back to my attention. That is the Milk Bosatu leak. Milk Bosatu correctly guessed at the Dragon Quest hero character not coming with any female costumes, and also correctly guessed that VR would be coming to the Switch. Then, back around the late summer, early fall of last year, Milk Bosatu started talking about another character coming to Smash. This time, the character was supposedly coming from a fighting game. It was going to be a female character. They were going to have a throwing weapon of some kind, like a boomerang or a hammer, and that their outfit looked Japanese. After we got Terry as our SNK rep and not Nakaruru, and after we got Byleth as the final character in the first Fighters Pass, most people wrote off Milk Bosatu's leak as being phony. However, mattering to how early in development this information was obtained, it's possible the character they were talking about was Min Min. She's a female character from a fighting game, her clothing look Asian at least, and she does have a throwing weapon much like a boomerang with the Ram Ram. So it's a tough call to make whether or not Milk Bosatu was talking about Min Min, but I wanted to throw it out there as a possibility for who that leak could have been about. Over on my Discord, Wizark-sama wrote, "Hey Papagenos, I just wanted to share this theory with you. I'm no insider, but I think this image might have actually been a reference to Min Min. Daisy and Min Min both wear orange, and Min Min has a flower in her hair, and Daisy is a type of flower. I think perhaps Byleth and Min Min switched order of release during the planning phase because maybe Sakurai knew starting Wave 2 of DLC with a Fire Emblem character would upset some people and wouldn't boast well for sales. But that's just a theory." I'm unsure about Min Min having a flower in her hair, but her color scheme does fit for Daisy, and it's a possibility her and Byleth got switched around. It's also possible that image with Daisy in it was never a hint at all, but I wanted to throw it out there because I thought it was kind of interesting. We already talked about how Min Min getting in the game as a playable character ends that fan spirit rule that spirits can't be upgraded, and Sakurai actually went even further into this. In the presentation, Sakurai said, "Some of the Spirit Board targets may change slightly in the future." He specifically mentioned how having the Cuphead Mii costume would upgrade that Spirit Battle from having Mega Man to having the Cuphead Mii costume as your opponent, and said we may alter more Spirit Board targets like this alongside future updates. With how much focus and attention this idea of upgrading Spirit Battles was given in the presentation, I feel it nearly guarantees that another upgraded Spirit character is going to be part of this Fighters Pass. A lot of fan favorite characters such as Rayman, Shantae, Geno, my personal favorite, are among the Spirit characters in Smash, and I really do feel like after this presentation, Sakurai has set us up for at least one more of them to be upgraded into a playable character. It's also possible we could get some Mii costumes that will upgrade some of these Spirit Battles as well, but given how much focus and attention this idea was given, I really believe at least one more of the characters in this Fighters Pass will be an upgraded Spirit character. One character that could be potentially fairly likely to have this treatment is Rex from the Xenoblade series. Rex was talked about specifically as being a character Sakurai wanted to include in the base game for Smash Ultimate, but didn't have enough time to do so. This is extremely similar to how Sakurai talked about the ARMS character in Smash. Rex is currently a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but he's also a Mii costume. That Mii costume was given to those who bought the first Fighters Pass. When this Mii costume was revealed to us, Sakurai said while Rex didn't quite make the roster, they would be giving us this Mii costume as kind of a consolation prize. Sakurai went on to say, "We decided which fighters to include when we started planning, so we couldn't add characters from titles like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which was announced after planning had started." With all that said, it really sounds like Rex is in a very similar boat to getting an ARMS character. It's a character Sakurai wanted to do in the base game. However, ARMS didn't get a special consolation prize Mii costume. ARMS didn't have the amount of music tracks that Xenoblade 2 has in Smash already. And it does seem to me that anything that happened post-base game might honestly be out of the running. These are things they decided how they were going to implement them as DLC itself. Things like those Resident Evil spirits. I don't expect a Resident Evil character. I expect that when they were talking about putting Resident Evil in Smash as DLC, that spirit event was it. So it's a really tough call which way you want to look at Rex potentially being part of this second Fighters Pass. It's possible Sakurai goes through with what he initially wanted to do and make Rex part of the game. It's also possible Sakurai looks at what he's already put in the game as DLC with the Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that Rex Mii costume, and decides that's enough. Since Rex was given right at the beginning of the Fighters Pass, the first Fighters Pass, it is possible Sakurai decides this character is one of those spirit characters that we want to upgrade. It's a tough call to make here, so I'm not sure which way it's going to go. Decide for yourself what you think. There are, of course, other popular spirit characters in Smash Ultimate that haven't gotten anything as DLC yet. Characters like Bandana Waddle Dee, Shantae, Gino, and even Rayman, though Rayman did get some Mii costumes, sort of. At least there was some Ubisoft Mii costumes, some of which were Rabbids, which are loosely associated with the Rayman series. While I'm mentioning Rayman here, as a quick aside, there is some interesting speculation going on for a potential new Rayman game that could possibly be happening. This is very similar stuff to what was going on with Crash before we had Crash 4 officially announced to us. On the topic of spirits in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we also had something else revealed to us here. It was announced that we can now rematch spirit battles after version 8.0 is released. So this is pretty interesting, as Sakurai had said before when Home Run Contest showed up that that would pretty much be the last mode. Now this spirit rematch thing is really just an additional thing to a mode we already have in Smash, but it does sort of point to the fact that Sakurai can add new things to Smash outside of just characters, stages, and music, and of course Mii costumes. So I do think it's possible some other new modes could be in the works, adding in something like Board the Platforms or Break the Targets or giving us a Boss Rush mode does seem like a lofty, ambitious thing to hope for here, but it is possible. I mean, Sakurai did just give us these rematch spirit battles, something I wasn't expecting after he said Home Run Contest would pretty much be the final mode, so it's possible something else like that could happen here. On that note about what else we could be getting as DLC, it's time to talk about one of the most interesting things Sakurai mentioned. At one point in the video, Sakurai said, "I promise that we will at least develop and launch 5 more DLC fighters." Push Dustin of Source Gaming, who speaks fluent Japanese, wrote, "I've listened to the Japanese. He's saying at the very least, you are going to still get your characters and reveal trailers. No idea on Mii costumes, extra production for the characters, etc." So in Japanese, Sakurai really did say at least. It is the same in Japanese. Push Dustin is taking this to mean that we will get at least 5 more DLC characters. And as far as the extra things that come with those characters, that's unsure, but Sakurai is promising to at least fulfill the next 5 characters. With the pandemic and everything going on, it makes sense that Sakurai wants to reassure us that this DLC Fighters Pass is going to finish out. So as stated before, one way of looking at this is to say Sakurai is assuring us he's going to finish out the pass despite the pandemic and everything, but we will at least get the 5 more characters. On the other hand, it's possible Sakurai is saying that we will get at least 5 more characters and he is going to at least finish out this pass, but the potential for things after the pass is still there. A few months back, in one of Sakurai's Famitsu articles, he said that they had no future plans after the second Fighters Pass. However, he also did not say another Fighters Pass was out of the question, only that they were focusing on this pass and not thinking about what would happen for Smash in the future. The second pass was apparently something they decided on after already starting the first pass, so deciding to do a third pass is indeed a possibility, and with this at least 5 more DLC statement, it seems Sakurai is still hesitant to give us a definitive ending to the DLC just yet. I personally do think both ways of looking at this are valid. However, I'm only going to be speculating as if the second Fighters Pass is the end of the line, that that's all the characters we're going to get. I don't want to hype myself up for a third pass. However, I will also say it doesn't sound like Sakurai is making a hardline, definitive end to Smash Ultimate's DLC at the end of the second pass. He hasn't said that yet. So the possibility, the door is open for a third pass. That really is on the table still. I'm not going to be speculating at it because, again, I don't want to get my hopes up beyond where they should be or my expectations beyond where they should be. However, a third pass is still a possibility. Sakurai has yet to say that he's only going to give us 5 more characters. He's just promised that he will at least give us 5 more characters. So the end of the second pass is where we should be speculating on, but if it continues past that, it's a possibility here. Sakurai has not shut the door yet. I will harken back to an old piece of data mined information, which was 16 character slots in the World of Light mode. Counting Piranha Plant, I believe these 16 spots would be filled up if we got a third pass of 4 characters. I'm no expert on data mine information though, and of course this is speculating based on a potential third pass, which again is something I don't really want to be speculating on, but I figured I'd bring this up here. It is possible we could get more Smash beyond just the second pass. That is a possibility here, so I'm not counting on it, but it could happen. Over on Twitter, Stealth wrote, "It does make me laugh that Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to end up with the highest amount of newcomers in series history, 23. And during E3 2018, Sakurai told us not to expect too many new characters." Stealth went on to say Smash Wii U, including DLC and including Mii Fighters, will have the second highest total newcomers with 21. Smash Ultimate managed to top it given the increase in DLC characters. So while Sakurai's line about at least 5 more DLC characters doesn't shut the door on a third pass, I will say we've gotten more characters in Smash Ultimate, including the DLC, than we will for any other Smash, so let's not get too greedy here, guys. If it does end at the end of the second pass, we've gotten more than enough new characters. Another thing we got shown off in this video were the amiibos for Joker and Hero. Unfortunately, Hero is not coming in a 4-pack, at least it doesn't appear to be that way, and Sakurai did say that supplies of these may be somewhat limited, which makes sense with the pandemic and production of physical goods that is going on in the world right now. I'm a big fan of amiibos, and specifically that Joker amiibo with all those blue flames looks really cool to me. I do want to talk briefly about something interesting Sakurai brought up when he was talking about amiibos. He talked about the Zelda and Ganon characters in Smash Ultimate having new designs, and how it's unfortunate we're not going to get amiibos for their designs in Smash Ultimate, but rather have just their designs from Smash 4. It was kind of a strange segue into announcing the new amiibos, but that might have been all it was. However, this struck me as specifically pretty odd, because this is the second time Sakurai's brought up Zelda's design in Smash Ultimate. In the Min Min presentation, Sakurai said, however, some fighters like Zelda and Ganondorf have their designs from Smash Bros. Wii U and Smash Bros. Nintendo 3DS, so it's too bad that we will not have updated versions. Ah, what a shame, but we've released them all. It was really just an odd moment, though sometimes Sakurai can be a kind of odd guy like that. However, in our last presentation for a Smash character, the Byleth presentation, Sakurai said, I guess we really can't have Breath of the Wild Princess Zelda as a fighter. He was talking about how he had played Breath of the Wild early and decided that the Breath of the Wild Zelda character was more of a researcher than a fighter, and that her design wouldn't work well for Smash because of that. So in the last 2 presentations, Sakurai has brought up Zelda's design in sort of a weird roundabout way. And I have a kind of strange conspiracy theory going on here that involves Breath of the Wild 2. So there's a lot of speculation right now that Breath of the Wild 2 may include a playable Princess Zelda. The one reveal trailer we got showed Zelda and Link exploring together, and Zelda has a short haircut, which would work well for giving her different costumes so that her long hair doesn't clip through them. We also got the Ancient Soldier Mii costume as a bonus for buying the second Fighter's Pass, showing that Sakurai does have the Breath of the Wild series on his mind. Now again, this is sort of an out there conspiracy theory, and it's not necessarily something I really want, but it's possible if in Breath of the Wild 2, Princess Zelda is a playable character, Sakurai might add them into Smash. Sakurai has brought up Zelda's design twice now in 2 different presentations, and I could also see Nintendo wanting to push Breath of the Wild 2, and maybe a promotional character in Smash might help that. If a big selling point for Breath of the Wild 2 is that you can now play as Princess Zelda, and if she has a really unique moveset from that game, I could see her being a character Nintendo might want to show off in Smash as well. Again, this isn't necessarily something I want to have happen this pass, it's just something I think might happen this pass. Last pass we did get Byleth, and I know a lot of people didn't really want another Fire Emblem rep. Similarly, with the Zelda series, we have 3 Links. We have Zelda and Sheik, which is technically 2 Zeldas, and I know people don't really want repeat characters that we already have. People would rather get new game series or at least new characters in Smash, especially as DLC, so getting a 3rd Zelda added to Smash would be one of those sort of Nintendo moves. Not really what the fans want, but might be what Nintendo wants to do to promote a new game. Again, this is really a conspiracy theory. It's speculation on top of speculation. This is, people speculating that Breath of the Wild Zelda might be playable in the second Breath of the Wild, and then to go further and say maybe they're going to promote that with her in Smash. It's a lot of, stacked speculation, so just, keep that one in mind. It's something I can't seem to shake here, and I thought it was really strange that once again, Zelda's design was brought up specifically by Sakurai. Okay, now let's talk about the Mii costumes we got revealed to us with Min Min. So we got Ninjara as another ARMS Mii costume similar to Ribbon Girl, and Ninjara was a character Sakurai said he was considering alongside Min Min as our ARMS rep. We also got Calamari from Splatoon 2 in as Mii costumes, and Splatoon is a very similar series to ARMS. It's a newer Nintendo IP, so it makes sense to have them show up alongside the ARMS rep. And then the most interesting two are Heihachi and Vault Boy. Heihachi is, of course, from Tekken, which is a fighting game, so it does make sense for Heihachi to show up alongside the ARMS character, as they're both fighting game characters. Heihachi is also, of course, a returning Mii costume. He was a Mii costume in Super Smash Bros. 4, so I've now seen people talking about the missing Mii costumes from Smash 4 as sort of a new Mii costume theory for when they may show back up in Smash Ultimate. So Heihachi showing up as a Mii costume alongside Min Min is really interesting to me, as I was speculating Heihachi as a potential character as part of the second pass, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It looks like we got Heihachi as a Mii costume. I was mostly speculating Heihachi might show up in Smash because of this potentially leaked DM from Vergaben. It's not totally clear if this is definitely from Vergaben, but it did have this part. It said, and I don't know how soon or what exactly it even is, but Heihachi is going to be a guest character in something soon. So I've speculated for quite a while now that I thought a second Namco character is rather overdue for Smash. Namco actually helps Sakurai directly with Super Smash Bros., yet they only have one character in the game. That character is Pac-Man, and I thought Heihachi from Tekken would be a perfect second Namco rep. So with a second Namco rep already something on my mind, and something I thought was pretty likely to happen for Smash Ultimate, and the fact that Heihachi from Tekken would fit that really well. I think Tekken's a popular enough series to grant the second spot for a Namco rep, and we had this possible, it could be fabricated, but possible DM from Vergaben saying that Heihachi was going to guest appear in something, and that something could very well be Smash. I thought it was a little strange to not know what Heihachi was going to guest appear in. The fact that it would be secretive pointed to something like Smash to me. I thought all lined up for a strong possibility that Heihachi could be a character we get as part of the second Fighters Pass. In this translated interview from Sakurai by Source Gaming, Sakurai had even mentioned how he wanted Heihachi in Smash at one point, but couldn't make the moveset from Tekken work. So with all those things lining up, my guess for another character in this pass was legitimately Heihachi, but it ends up he was just a Mii costume, which could still fit that whole thing about him guest appearing in something. I mean, if the information came from some employee at Namco or something, hearing some water cooler talk about how they're licensing Heihachi out for some game, but they don't know which game, yeah, that could still fit for the Heihachi Mii costume. It's also, of course, possible Heihachi could still be guest appearing in something else, say like King of Fighters or something, but if that doesn't pan out, it is possible what Heihachi was guest appearing in, what that piece of information was talking about, was in fact his Mii costume coming to Smash. So with our list of Smash 4 Mii costumes not yet to appear in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate growing even smaller, I want to highlight another Namco character that was a Mii costume formerly in Smash 4. That character is Lloyd from the Tales of series. Tales of is extremely popular in Japan, and I've actually been guessing at Lloyd for quite a while. When I was making predictions for the first Fighters Pass, I had Lloyd on there. With Heihachi as a Mii costume, it's possible Tekken is now out of the running. Otherwise, you would probably save Heihachi's Mii costume for when a Tekken character gets in Smash. You could conversely make the argument that you'd save Heihachi for any Namco character, but I really feel the Tales of series is big enough to be sort of like Dragon Quest, where potentially if it showed up, all the Mii costumes would be Tales of series characters. So I think Lloyd is still a possibility, and Heihachi may have shown up alongside Min Min because ARMS is a fighting game much like Tekken. I don't think it should be underestimated how popular JRPGs and Tales of itself is to the Japanese Smash fanbase. Lloyd is a character people have wanted for a very long time, and Sakurai has even stated that if he were to pick a Tales of character, it would likely be Lloyd. So while there are some other Tales of reps that could get in, such as Yuri Lowell, I do think Lloyd will most likely be the choice if we do get a Tales of character. Another translated interview from Sakurai by Source Gaming says, "The Tales series has 20 years of history. How did you decide on Lloyd for the costume?" Sakurai said, "I'm not sure if there were any other appropriate choices." The interviewer then says, "For example, how about the protagonist of the first game, Cress?" And Sakurai says, "I really think it has to be Lloyd here," and laughs. So because I think a second Namco character is still highly overdue and highly likely for Super Smash Bros., and because we now have Heihachi out of the way, I really do think Lloyd's Mii costume potentially being upgraded into a playable character and getting the Tales of series represented in Smash, much the same way other JRPGs were represented in the first pass, such as Persona and the Dragon Quest series. I really think Lloyd is sitting in a very nice position to potentially be one of our playable characters in this second Fighters Pass. You can conversely make the argument that because Heihachi wasn't saved to show up alongside a Namco character, that we won't get a second Namco character. You can also make the argument that because the Heihachi Mii costume has returned from Smash 4, it shows they're returning more Smash 4 Mii costumes in this second pass, and the Lloyd Mii costume will simply return. Those are valid arguments, but personally, I really think Lloyd has a pretty good shot at becoming playable. Now to talk about the final Mii costume that was shown off to us, and this one is probably the most interesting. It was Vault Boy from the Fallout series, which I was absolutely shocked about. I'm a huge fan of the Fallout series, and this was very unexpected. One strange thing that happened when Vault Boy was shown off to us was that in the United States, it said Smash Bros. X Vault Boy. This is very similar to what happened when we got Altair. Altair was shown with a Smash Bros. X Altair logo instead of a Smash Bros. X Assassin's Creed. In other parts of the world, Smash Bros. X Assassin's Creed was shown, and in other parts of the world, Smash Bros. X Fallout was shown instead of Vault Boy. So I really think this was probably just a censorship issue with the ESRB. Assassin, of course, has sort of negative connotations with it, and Fallout has to do with nuclear bombs, so I can understand why they potentially changed them here. Speaking of Altair, it is a little strange that we have Ubisoft Mii costumes and now a Bethesda Mii costume when we don't have any Ubisoft characters or Bethesda characters, and both companies don't have a playable character yet, but they potentially could. So both Ubisoft and Bethesda are sitting in kind of an awkward position where they could get a playable character in Smash here, or it's possible all they're getting are these Mii costumes. Over on Twitter, @Rayman for Smash wrote, "You know, it's kind of weird. Rayman is a popular fan demand pushed by his own company, and then Rabbids and Assassin's Creed Mii's show up. And then Doom Guy is the same deal, except it's Bethesda pushing for him, and Vault Boy shows up. ... Food for thought." So now let's talk about the Vault Boy Mii costume itself. It's one of those premium or deluxe, whatever you want to call it, Mii costumes, much in the same way we got Sans and Cuphead. They show up with these mini reveal trailers. They also tend to change the Mii that they're a costume for, completely blocking the Mii face and changing the body a bit. The Vault Boy that we got has a Vault 111 jumpsuit, meaning he's Vault Boy from Fallout 4. So it's possible this could be a sign of potentially Fallout 4 getting ported to the Switch. Some people are arguing that Vault Boy isn't the same as the Sans and Cuphead Mii costumes because those Mii costumes came with a music track. However, I really think it's just because Fallout doesn't really have any music that would fit well in Smash. It would be tough to do a remake of a Fallout song and make it, you know, fast-paced and work for a fighting game. A lot of that is just ambient background music, so I think that's probably why Vault Boy didn't come with a music track. Speaking of Sans and Cuphead, once again, the Vault Boy Premium or Deluxe, whatever you want to call it, Mii costume is a Mii costume for Mii Gunner. However, I really think this just is a coincidence that so many characters fit well for Mii Gunner, and I do expect that if we get more of these Premium or Deluxe Mii costumes, it's just as likely we could get a Mii Brawler or Mii Sword Fighter. It's just a matter of the character fitting for that Mii. Some people also noticed this. Min Min is our 76th character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and the newest Fallout game is Fallout 76, and we got Vault Boy alongside Min Min. So it's a little strange all those numbers are lining up. It may just be a coincidence, or it could potentially point to the team actually paying attention to what numbered character we have going on, and maybe because Min Min was 76, they decided to do the Fallout Mii costume alongside with her. The next character we're getting is Challenger Pack 7 for fighter number 77. So I was doing some speculation based on potentially getting a character that would fit the number 7 well. Honestly, Geno from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars could fit extremely well for our next character if these fighter numbers are being paid attention to. Again, it's entirely possible this Vault Boy showing up with character number 76 is coincidental. On the note of Geno speculation, getting Vault Boy in Smash as a Mii costume means Bethesda now is in fact a part of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and one of our most divisive leaks that still isn't completely disproven involves both Bethesda and Geno. I'm talking, of course, about the Kako Malo leak. This was the leak from quite a while back. This was before Byleth was revealed, and it involved a Kako Demon and Malo Mii costume. Kako Demon is from the Doom series, and Malo is from Super Mario RPG. So both of these Mii costumes pointed to highly requested characters in Smash, one being Doomguy, the other being Geno. Malo is also a spirit battle already in Smash, and in this new presentation, Sakurai did inform us that it's possible Mii costumes may be showing up and changing spirit battles, and a Malo Mii costume would of course do that for Malo's spirit battle. The Kako Malo leak had actual video footage of these two Mii costumes, and according to the modding community, modding Mii costume hats to look as clean as they do in that video footage is a very difficult thing to do. We have yet to see any modders be able to remake Mii costumes and show off video footage of the same caliber as the Kako Malo leak. There was a legitimate leak for Ken before the base game for Smash Ultimate came out, and this Kako Malo leak also has Ken. If it's faked, it's possible someone was just putting Ken in there to harken back to that original Ken leak for credibility, but it's also possible that the person who leaked Ken is the same person who leaked the Kako Malo Mii costumes. Again, the person who leaked Ken is a legitimate person. That actually happened. Someone who had access to the game with Ken did leak that image, so that person's out there. It's very possible they did get access to the Mii costumes that are showing up and have once again leaked it and left their calling card, which is Ken. Many people have written off the Kako Malo leak because of how much time has gone by. We've gotten Byleth, and now we've gotten Min Min as our arms rep, and we still haven't seen these Mii costumes. However, that's a big assumption being made. We don't know when the Mii costumes are created. It's possible the ones that show up alongside the fighter are created alongside with them. It's also possible they work on all the Mii costumes at once at the start of the pass, and then just portion them out as the fighters come out. If the schedule for Mii costumes is not coinciding with the characters those Mii costumes are going to be portioned out with, it's very possible that this Kako Malo leak was simply the Mii costumes being worked on a while back, and they're just sitting waiting for the associated characters that they're going to show up with to be announced. There's a lot of unknowns with this potential leak, and I've also seen some people using Vault Boy as a hit against it. While Vault Boy does prove that Bethesda is in fact involved with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it also shows that Vault Boy is being given out to us already, and it does feel like if, say, Doomguy was happening for Smash, maybe you'd save the Vault Boy Mii costume and have it show up alongside him. More so than the time frame that we've waited on the Kako Malo leak, however, there was this one interview from someone from idSoft that really seemed to put a nail in the coffin for any chance of Doomguy showing up in Smash. The interview says, "What about the rumors of Doomslayer being in Smash Bros? Do you think it could ever happen?" I don't know. We've asked them. You asked them? Yeah. Well, that's how Solid Snake got in. Would they discount it just because of the gore and violence, though? I don't know. You would honestly have to ask them. We've never been approached and said, hey, can Doomguy be in Smash Bros? But we're open-minded if they asked. But we hear it all the time. Who would say no? But you did ask them? We've had... I don't even know who talked to who, but we've bantered with them. We have a great relationship with them from bringing Doom 2016 to Switch and that kind of stuff. So we have great people over there, but it's one of those things that we're like, wouldn't it be cool? But it's never gone anywhere serious, so we'll see. While we have in the past had people who were in the know about a character coming to Smash simply deflect and deny it when asked about that. For example, Grant Kirkhope basically denied Banjo being in Smash, but was aware that it was going to happen. This is probably the most in-depth I've heard someone talk about a character not coming to Smash. This doesn't sound to me like a non-disclosure agreement type talk, something where they're just deflecting and don't want to talk about the character. This really sounds pretty thorough, and they're giving out a lot of information and saying that the character isn't coming to Smash. So this one really did feel like the end of Doomguy potentially coming to Smash. However, it could in fact just be deflection, and it's also possible that this is coming from idSoft and not Bethesda, and maybe Bethesda is the only ones aware that they've licensed out Doomguy to Smash Brothers. It's possible. There's a lot of unknowns here. Over on Twitter, Pete Hines was directly asked about Doom being represented in Smash Ultimate, and Pete Hines said, "I think that would be a question for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate dev team," basically deflecting answering the question. So I really feel this one could go one way or the other. It's very tough to say what Vault Boy does for the CacoMello leak. On one hand, it does show that Bethesda is in fact a part of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate now, which could mean Doomguy's coming. On the other hand, this may be all we're getting from Bethesda. Any of those rumors about Bethesda talking to Nintendo about Smash may have just resulted in a Vault Boy Mii costume. And then the CacoMello leak itself is still sitting in an awkward position. I haven't seen any video footage of someone modding it as well as we've seen in those videos. However, at the same time, it has been a while, so it's possible it's just dead because of that, or because of that idsoft interview. It's really tough to say what's going on here. I will say that even if CacoMello was legit, it doesn't necessarily mean Doomguy and Geno are getting in the game as playable characters, but it does bode well for both of them. So like I talked about at the very beginning of this video, many of the rumors and potential leaks and things we've been talking about after this Min Min reveal presentation are in very strange spots. I feel the CacoMello leak is in an even more unknown and strange spot. We're just going to have to wait that one out, but it's incredibly interesting now that we do in fact have Bethesda involved in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Speaking of Geno, Geno is one of those spirit characters in Smash Ultimate and could very well be upgraded the same way Min Min has. Geno is also among the Smash 4 Mii costumes we haven't had return yet, and it is a little strange his Mii costume has taken this long to show back up, especially considering he's such a popular character and his Mii costume even got a splash screen in Smash 4 as if he was a playable fighter. We had color theory before, and we now have another color theory. I'm calling it advanced color theory. Basically, it's that all the colors of the DLC characters we've gotten so far on the official webpage match the colors of the 7 stars in Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars. I've talked about this before, but our next fighter is Challenger Pack 7 for fighter number 77, and Geno, of course, would fit that extremely well. So if those background colors on the website are indicating that we're leading up to Geno, that would be pretty cool. The 77th fighter would fit well for him, but this is very conspiracy theory out there stuff, so I'm not counting on it. I do, however, still think Geno has a very good chance at getting in this second Fighter's Pass, but as the 77th fighter or later on, I really don't know. And like I always mention when talking about Geno, I will admit he'd also work well as a premium or deluxe Mii costume. He is, of course, well fit for Mii Gunner. That's what his Mii costume in Smash 4 was for, and all the ones we've gotten so far have been Mii Gunner costumes. And Vault Boy getting in is the first non-indie character to get a premium deluxe Mii costume. Our last two were Sans and Cuphead, which are both indie game characters. Geno, of course, is not an indie game character, but neither is Vault Boy, so it is possible Geno could be a Mii costume. I'd be okay with that. If he got one of those premium deluxe ones, we got like a music track from Mario RPG, and he looked really good, like a nice Mario RPG modern day render of Geno, I'd love to see what that looks like, and I'd honestly be happy with that representation if that's what we ended up getting. I do want to mention briefly that glitch we had going on with Bayonetta, where when you did a smash attack with her, it caused her outfit to glitch, may in fact have been for Min Min. Min Min has the ability to change her arms, and her left dragon arm also powers up. So Bayonetta having a texture change built into her character might have been something they were using to build these abilities. There was another strange visual glitch we had happen recently that involved Ness. Ness had his eyes disappear in his victory animation. I actually went and found the match where this happened, and Ness's eyes had disappeared throughout the entire match, not just the victory animation. So it was a really strange glitch. Over on Smashboards, Enigma735 wrote, going back to the Ness visual glitch discussion from earlier, I actually wanted to make an interesting point that I just realized I've never heard anyone here talk about or bring up. Apparently, this visual glitch occurs during Ness's victory pose where he does a nod. This is interesting to note, as most of you know, in Super Mario RPG, Geno's victory pose after winning a battle is doing a nod. And that's true when you win a battle in Super Mario RPG and you have Geno on your party. Geno does this little nod that's very similar to what Ness does. So it's possible they're using Ness as a base for Geno, much the same way it was possible Bayonetta was being used as a base for Min Min. I've also heard some people suggesting Ness could be being used as a base for Porky, as they have similar body types and are of course from the same series, and Porky's eyes are covered by his hair. Whether or not you believe characters glitching like this points to any future characters, make that assessment for yourself. One strange thing that happened over on the website when Min Min was added is that it still had 6 question mark spots after her, implying there'd be a further fighter after the second Fighter's Pass. However, this has happened every single time a new character has been added to the website, so I really believe this is just a glitch when they add characters. And then finally, I want to talk about a few things that happened not related necessarily to the Min Min presentation. We also had another presentation this week, which was the Pokemon Presents, where they showed off Pokemon Unite. Pokemon Unite is a joint venture game between Tencent and the Pokemon Company, and it is a MOBA-style game, much the same way League of Legends is. League of Legends is owned by Riot Games, and Tencent owns Riot Games. We had this potential leak over on 4chan from a while ago that did correctly guess that the Mana series would get a Spirit event in Smash, which did happen, and it was also saying that a League of Legends character would show up in the Smash Fighters Pass. It also mentioned that Hollow Knight would get a Mii Sword Fighter costume and a music track much the same way that Sans and Cuphead got that. While it wasn't sure of which character from League of Legends, it guessed at Ahri. So not too much more credibility for that leak, but it's still in my mind, and the fact that the Pokemon Company just made a game very similar to League of Legends working alongside Tencent, it is possible Tencent has talked to Nintendo, and a League of Legends character could show up in this pass. It's something that maybe could happen. We had Nintendo of America tweet out about Melody of Memory, a new Kingdom Hearts game for the Switch, and Square Enix actually wrote, "It's the power of friendship." So if you're hoping for Sora in Smash, it does seem at least Nintendo and Square are on good terms as far as Kingdom Hearts goes. Speaking of Square, we finally found out what The World Ends With You was doing at Anime Expo, and it seems we're getting a The World Ends With You anime announced. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. And then finally, let's do a deep dive and speculate on Sakurai's couch. No, I'm just kidding. That's all I had to talk about in this video. I think speculation is at a really exciting place. I think there's a lot of unknowns here. I think things like the Kako Malo leak or the idea that Spirit characters or even Assist Trophy characters could get upgraded. There's just a lot of stuff, a lot of unknowns going on. So right now I'm very excited for the rest of this pass and where Smash Ultimate is headed for the future. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, leave them below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. It really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.